Hello, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, everybody. It's me back again. I have a good jewel for you. This is something God has really placed in my spirit. So I know that it's something that He wants me, us, everyone to really pay attention to. The jewel for today is forgiveness. Yeah, it took me a while. I had to do a lot of research, a lot of studying, a lot of praying. I've done a lot of crying. It just made me kind of I'm sorry, y'all, see where I am as far as forgiveness. And for the most part, I thought I had this one pretty much down packed too. But there are some different elements, components, and processes to true forgiveness. And so, with that being said, I already know it's going to take a couple of videos in order to really bring it out the way that I need to. I'm praying and asking God to let it be fruitful, to let it help and to, also help myself during this process as well. He gave me a few scriptures. Some I will read on this particular video. The others, I think it's 6. I'll do 3 on this one and 3 on the next one. But, just going to God and asking Him about this process of forgiveness, it really kind of makes you think, as the teacher, as the person who is trying to relay the message. You always have to look at yourself first, right? And I'm doing that, and I'm thankful to God for even allowing me to be in this space to where I can honestly and truthfully look at myself. And I'm hoping that, everyone else, you all do the same. So let's get started. You'll see me looking and reading. It was a lot of information. To me, it was good. And I feel like it's a good read. Y'all ain't got to read it. I'm reading it. Just listen and see see if you can get anything out of it. And prayerful that you will. So what I wrote was reading lots of different scriptures about forgiveness gave me a new perspective on it. I understood that in order to be forgiven, I must first forgive. I now understand that that's really not all there is to it. God also had other reasons for forgiveness. Unforgiveness is another form of pride. Unforgiveness really affects the person who harbors it, or holds on to it in a more negative way. It affects people who hold on to it in more of a negative way than they may think. Okay? How? I say that because it's really us not truly understanding what God did and continues to do for us as many times as we ask, which is He forgives us as many times as we ask. Okay? Whereby he says that we are to forgive others as he forgives us. Okay? And I know what y'all saying, because I done said it too. Well, I'm not God. But guess what? I'm trying to be like him. So if he's telling me, Wanda, in order for me to forgive you, and I have, you also have to forgive others as well. Because um, not forgiving puts us in a dangerous position. Why? Because no matter how bad the offense is, we have to forgive. God is very, very aware of what's happened. He knows what happened. Nothing escapes him. God knows all things. So I know it could have been really, really bad. I'm talking about in your mind, in your heart, unforgivable. You know, there are some things that they're so horrible. Like, you just can't even imagine how a person could do it or people could do it. But y'all, as children of God, we are different. What we have to endure will seem crazy, will seem wrong, and it is. Um, but I really understand now that no matter what it is that we're going through, it's allowed by God, and it's going to turn around for our good. The enemy doesn't want us to know that or understand that, because you know what, instead of complaining and you know all of these other things we go through when hard things hit us, we would really embrace it. That's what the word tells us to do. And I'm with y'all. I know it's hard, but I know that what how I try to think about things when they're not going my way is I know that nothing or no one can come into my life, whether it's good or bad, um, without God first approving it. So if it's hitting me, if it's in my life, if I'm having to deal with it, I know he okayed it. And he only okayed it because it was chosen just for me. And he knows that no matter what I say, no matter how I feel, I can handle it, even when I think I can't. Okay? So I'm going to go on. Um, like I said, God is very aware. Nothing escapes him. God knows all things. I believe that we as children of God, like I said, we're different. People who are really authentic probably won't be able to grasp this concept right now, but hopefully one day they will, because everything will be screaming, get them back. Don't let them get away, with that. And understand this though. Our allegiance is to God, not anyone else. What people think or suggest to you is irrelevant when it comes down to forgiveness. God requires it, and that's just that on that, okay? Plus, it produces a strength that comes from God. It's the ability to deny your body, the emotional stress that it wants to release within you by refusing to allow your heart to trap unforgiveness within it. No, well, let me back that up. It wants to have you where you will refuse to let go of unforgiveness in your heart. It's really torture, okay? It's a slow and miserable death of your spirit, because honestly, you know, what about those who just say it but don't really mean it? Okay, you may as well keep it because God knows all. He created sincerity, a sincere heart. So he definitely knows when we're not being sincere. Um, and the last part of it was, why is it so important for us to forgive? Because of what Jesus did, y'all. He is our salvation. He's our Savior. He who knew no sin died for ours. He never sinned. He forgave all our sin, all of it. Everything we did when we didn't know him, everything we did when we did find out about him, and everything we're doing now, and what we are going to do in the future. Now, that doesn't give us a free pass. We have obligation, responsibility to him as well. You don't get to just say, oh God, forgive me, and then you good. No, it's work involved. Nothing worth having is going to be for free except salvation. But there is a lifestyle that goes along with being a Christian. And I know you guys know that. There's no way you can be a Christian and still live the life you used to live. I mean, that's bogus. You know, that's fraudulent or whatever y'all want to call it. And you're not really fooling anybody because authentic believers of God, they have discernment. Everyone does. If you're a child of God, you have discernment. God will let you know when a person is authentic and when they are full of it. All you have to do is be in tune, be in alignment, and God will show you, just like a picture on the screen, just who people are and who they're pretending to be, right? So he forgave all of our sin, and his command is that we reciprocate that forgiveness to others as well. Okay? There is an example in the word that talks about a king who forgave a man for his debt. And he owed this man a lot of money. This guy, he owed the king a lot of money. But he went to the king, he cried out, begged him, told him, just give me more time, I'll get it. Guess what? The king went ahead and said, you know what? I'm going to wipe it all away. You don't owe me anything. Go on your way. Okay, the man leaves, goes on his way. While he's, traveling or going back home or whatever, he runs into a guy who owes him money. Okay? Now look at this. He did not forgive that man his debt like the king did him. Oh, he went to the authorities, in other words, called the cops on him had the man arrested and put in jail until he could pay him his money back. So guess what? You know, there's always a crowd when drama's going on, when folk going to jail, getting locked up or beat up or whatever they be doing. So all of these people, now they saw what happened. Someone went back to the king and told him, hey, you know that guy you forgave and let go of all of his debt? How about this joker that had someone arrested because of what they owed him? So the king was like, bring him right on back here. He goes back there and he calls him, um, he basically told him, dude, you ain't right. You ain't no good. How you gonna have this man arrested because of what he owed you? But at the same time, I released you of your debt. So you know what? You going to jail too. Okay? That's a true story in the Bible. So the king punished him. And it's, like the analogy that God uses. He's saying to us, don't expect, first of all, he's a just God. Don't expect me to, God, forgive you of your sin, but at the same time, when someone does something to you, you can't do it. Who are you? Who are you? Oh, because you and your feelings, they came off to you wrong, or they did something to you that no. Well, I just want you to know, like I had to re-inform myself. Okay, you could sit there and you could hold it. You're only hurting yourself. And God is not going to be able to forgive you, Wanda. If you can't forgive, he is not going to forgive you. And we can't just say it. You have to mean it. Well, some people say, well, I can forgive, but I ain't dealing with them no more. Now, you don't have to. I read it. I'm going to give y'all the definitions of it too. I'm going to explain it too. You do not, but you can't be nasty. You can't be rude. You can't be, that's not sincere. That's not sincere forgiveness. It's not. Because what if God did that to us? Okay, said he forgave us, but, wouldn't give us provisions, or wouldn't, heal our bodies, or, wouldn't give us a word. Who gonna serve a God like that? Not me. Not when you done told me you forgave me. So we have to take that same stance when it comes down to other people. If you're trying to be an authentic believer of Christ, this is what he requires. And I'm telling y'all, Miss Wanda, I'm still trying to beat this body down and make it accept what God is saying, no matter how I feel about it. Because I'm human too. Sometimes I'm in my feelings. Sometimes I'm like, no. But I'm telling y'all, we have to do it. We have to do it, and we have to mean it. Now, I know it's a process. And so what I learned is I have to say it every day until I feel it. I have to, because every day you know, think about it. When someone has offended you and you have to see them, or, you know, they're in your family or whatever, they're close. And that's the worst type of hurt right there, when people are really close. You know, um, you gotta see them. You gotta be on your grown woman and your grown man. You can't be walking around here, you know, all up in your feelings. Uh, but just say they're, they're not interested in talking about it, not interested in apologizing or anything like that. No, you don't need closure. You don't need it. Once you go to God and ask God to forgive you, and you have tried um, to go to the other person, ask for forgiveness, well, it's a scripture in there too. You just make sure your heart is sincere about it. Give it to God, dust your feet off, and keep it moving. Don't be nasty. Don't be having no. Listen, you don't have to go any further. You don't have to allow people to keep hurting you. Once they show you who they are, that's them. That's them. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Forgive, but don't sit there and make yourself available to keep being hurt. That's crazy. We're not doing that. Okay, so what I also said was, we can't expect forgiveness or mercy, but not be willing to extend it. The word says that we can't forgive those who hurt us or wronged us. Our Father is just. He will not forgive us. I don't care what it is, y'all. If we can't do it, He won't do it. Okay? So we have to take the face off of people. Sometimes it's hard to forgive someone because of who they are. But if they weren't close to you, you probably wouldn't care that much. But how will you see that God can and will take care of whatever or whomever wronged you? Trust me, He has the solution. No one is exempt. He has no favorites. We all are loved by God, but He means what He says. When He says forgive, He means just that, y'all. We have to work on it. We have to be sincere about it and let God kind of navigate us through this process. I know everyone says, oh, forgiveness is a process. It is. It is. It's not something you're going to be able to do in a couple of hours, a day or two, a couple of weeks. You know, it depends on what the offense was. It shouldn't, and prayerfully we'll get to a place to where we can quickly forgive. So that these things will not take root. Because once they take root inside of you, that's a whole process to deal with. Child, it may take some counseling. You can't be going through all of that. These people are going to be people. They're going to be exactly who they are. You have to, you and I, we have to decide and determine who we connect with. You know, who we can communicate with, who we cannot communicate with, who should be, in our company, who should not be. You know all of that. You just can't judge. And that's going to be the next video, I'm going to talk about how unforgiveness, what it breeds, and it breeds judgment, condemnation, a couple of other things we're going to talk about in another video. But that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to come back and finish up the rest of this little segment about forgiveness. Okay? Thanks again, you guys, and you all have a blessed rest of your evening. Bye-bye.